topic, especially on the pharmacological and toxicological evaluation. So as a pharmacologist perspective, how I felt when I started studying about molecular docking. So as per the previous speakers of today's sessions have thrown many lights on the molecular docking process. So I would be entirely focusing on the molecular docking online demo process. So which I'm going to do it for two major docking tools, especially one with Moldgrow Virtual Docker and the other one with Schrodinger Glide software. So hope ma'am my screen is shared to everybody. All the participants can see it.
Yes, sir, we can view it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So basically, as the introduction is said about myself, I work as assistant professor, and for the past 6 years, I've been knowing about the basics of this pharmacological screening using in silico tools. So not only about the pharmacological evaluation, so there are many types of the pharmacological and toxicological evaluations which has been classified into. And if you see, this is the basic concept of preclinical research. So as a pharmacologist, the options are open both in clinical as well as in preclinical research. So if I try to evaluate, especially how this evaluation study of activities can be done by both pharmacology as well as toxicology, this is the method I would put for the screening to present it to the upcoming generations. Okay, so basically in this concept of research as a preclinical point, so the pharmacological evaluation and toxicological evaluation is the need of the hour, because the pharmacological evaluations is going to throw highlights on the specific activity. Obviously, the toxicological part would not be omitted. Okay, so this toxicology is trying to gain more knowledge in nowadays as a preclinical point of view. This is what we are going to measure more. So both are going hand in hand for a particular evaluation of a substance to be developed into the clinical stage, which before it enters the clinical trials. Okay. So basically the pharmacological evaluation and toxicological evaluations are further classified into in silico, in vitro and in vivo pharmacological evaluation. And this toxicological evaluations are further classified into in silico, in vitro and in vivo. So coming to the concept of this in silico, so it's basically the thing what we use doing the computer models. So the concept here is even all the pharmacological experimentations as of now have gone into computers. So still we are in search for a very good software where we could evaluate the various activities of the drugs, even as being prescribed by many governing bodies like Medical Council, Pharmacy Council, Dental Council, and all these national commissions are trying to make new softwares where this preclinical experimentations, apart from research, for normal experimentation purpose, how to develop it. In those things, the pharmacological in silico computer modelings are playing a major role, especially when coming to the reality, how you can identify a particular drug candidate, or you can screen 1,000 or 1 lakh candidates or ligands or drug of your choice, which you want to evaluate it, can be done by a tool which we call it as the molecular docking technique. So again, there are mainly merits and demerits when we perform with the molecular docking tools. So exactly in a pharmacological perspective, we say for a drug to produce an activity, it should have a binding affinity and an efficacy. So the affinity to a particular targets and how it is going to modulate its efficacy is going to be the concept. So in molecular docking studies, we try to find out the affinity with which a particular ligand binds to a particular protein, but the efficacy in what manner either it's going to be stimulated or inhibited is still a question mark. Okay, and the merits is this has produced way for screening 1 lakh molecules within an hour. So through high throughput screening, where you try to evaluate the in silico developed molecules to the next level of in vitro and in vivo research. So that molecules being developed in silico can be screened and vast varieties can be taken to the top 10 for in vitro methods, and the top 3 can be taken to the in vivo animal experimentation research. But again, in this 20 years of this molecular docking studies, so the scientists are still yet to discover a potent molecule that is being developed out of this particular molecular docking software. So in 2015, when Su Chu Tu from Chinese traditional medicines has received the Nobel Prize for the discovery for the artemisinin, which is an anti-malarial drug, which is shared with another drug that is being developed for antifungal activity, ivermectin. And both these were the drugs which were discovered in the 19th century from a plant-based origin. So this molecular docking is still a tool that can be used for evaluating and judging our parameters of a particular ligand, which can be developed into a potential drug in the future. But I would say it's just a percentage with which we develop is still a lacuna in this particular docking stage. Since various docking tools are available and various parameters have been put forth. So with the docking software, which I started is a AutoDock, which is a free docking software tool. And it tries to find out only the hydrogen bond interactions between the ligand and the protein. But the development of commercial softwares have led to the way for development of various parameters. So they have gone to the limit of inducing around 30 to 60 parameters for the evaluation of various components to a score, which is going to be coming out of this docking parameters. So this score would ultimately give how efficacy a particular ligand or drug is going to be. So in those concepts, if you put in all together, still the drugs are in the patent level and are yet to hit the markets by this particular discovery process. And coming to the toxicological evaluations, so another thing which we have in the in silico tool is the toxicity estimation software tool, which is being developed by the EPA, the government of US. So for evaluations of various toxicity studies like the brine shrimp lethality assay, the fathead menu, the Drosophila and zebrafish toxicity assay, and the oral rat LD50 value of the identified ligands can be easily determined by these experimental tools. So which we have it in the in silico tools for toxicological evaluation. So apart from that, we can in vitro methods can perform the brine shrimp lethality assay, where the cytotoxicity is evaluated and you can easily identify the LC50 value. And in vivo, obviously the OECD guidelines are trying to find out new models apart from the OECD 423, 420, where the fish embryo toxicity assay or the acute fish toxicity assays are being also approved as an in vivo toxicological evaluation techniques. So with that small introduction of the preclinical research into a pharmacological and toxicological evaluations, we just move to today's point of discussion about the molecular docking. So basically, what is molecular docking and what are the steps that is involved in the process of a docking simulation? Okay, so to my knowledge, which I have performed the docking in almost 3 to 4 softwares, I have this basic concept where a pharmacologist has to be concerned about is in the selection of a protein. And the next step would be the identification of a ligand. So in the selection of a protein is going to be the target where this particular ligand is going to bind and for what type of disease or disorder this protein has been found out. And then you need to prepare a basic step for preparing the protein and preparing the ligand so that both these molecules can be taken up into the computer simulation. And once these molecules are taken up inside the software for the simulations, so you need to find the binding site in the protein. So how and where the ligand can bind within the protein molecule, depending upon the type of hydrophobic and hydrophilic interactions that is being caused out in the primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure of the proteins. And once you determine the binding site where you want your ligand or all your ligands to check it out whether it is binding to that particular specific binding site, you prepare a grid around that particular binding site. And then you try to execute the docking process where you finally get a docking score. So that docking score is, each and every software has its own potential to it says that we have the 90% capacity of significance, saying that this particular molecule has the affinity to bind to this particular protein. And this is the concept with which all the molecular docking softwares are working. And these are the basic steps I would say has to be kept in mind. Whatever software you are using blindly, you can do it if you have these principles of molecular docking. So the selection of the protein, the identification of the ligand, the preparation of the protein and the ligand inside the software, and then you need to identify the binding site, and then you prepare the grid around the binding site of the protein, and then you try to pave way for the prepared ligand to come and bind to the binding site, and you determine the score that has been developed for various poses of the ligand. So I would say this is the principle. So before going deep into the docking demo, I just want you to give the I want to give the introduction about the proteins, the ligands, where it is obtained, how can it be taken into a computer model, what is the basics of this. So in order to identify it, so the selection of protein is nothing but the targets for drug action. So we, in the pharmacology, we see this pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics. So the kinetics is nothing but the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of the drug. And what the dynamics part is going to be the therapeutic effect or the adverse effect that is going to be produced by the drug. And majority of the drugs, apart from the chemotherapy, where the drug targets are going to be on microorganisms like bacteria, virus, fungal cells, the majority of the targets are there in the human body. And out of those, these are the 4 targets for which we are trying to develop the drug molecules or the drug candidates. So basically we have the enzyme, the receptor, the transporter, and the ion channels. And these are the 4 targets which I would prefer or suggest. And the selection process should be done in a very negotiable way to identify the disease targets. Okay. And if you specify a particular condition, for example, if I say it's going to be Alzheimer's disease for which I am going to develop a drug. So you need to correlate the particular targets for Alzheimer's disease. So the targets for Alzheimer's disease which have been postulated and which have been developed in the market is many, but the only target which has been established is nothing but the acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. So it's an enzyme. So the target is an enzyme. So obviously, if you want to go deep and extend the study process with molecular docking study, then you can take butyrylcholine esterase, which is a pseudocholine esterase, and you try to identify how both acetylcholine esterase and butyrylcholine esterase are trying to be inhibited by these ligand molecules, and you can screen it for the purpose. So the same way, if you see all these enzymes, so all enzymes are proteins in nature, but at the same time, all proteins are not enzymes. So they may be receptors, they may be transporters, and they may be ion channels. So now coming to the principle of identification of these enzymes, receptor, transporters, and ion channels, how can it be taken into a computer model? So how these proteins and all these models are taken up into the computer model. So in a bioinformatics perspective, I would say they would try to crystallize the protein, they would try to do the X-ray crystallography, they would perform the NMR thing, and all those to identify the primary, secondary, tertiary structure of proteins. But if you see the percentage of the identification of these receptors, enzymes, ion channels, and concepts, so not membrane proteins are 40%, whereas G protein coupled receptors are 19%, and the ion channels are going to comprise of the 17%, and we have the solute carriers, which is going to constitute the percentage of 16, and membrane associated enzymes, it's going to follow the 6%. Okay, so the concept here is all the proteins are going to be differentiated in any one of these categories, and the types of protein structure is going to determine by the primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure. So basically we have this concept of identifying this primary structure of the protein, where the amino acid buildup is the most important one. And then coming to the secondary structure, you have this alpha helix and the beta pleated sheets, which can be easily seen even in the docking study. And when coming to this concept of tertiary structure, so you see this beta helix wings that is being formed. And then finally, you have the three-dimensional structures of this XYZ coordinates of the protein. So coming to the concept of how these proteins are taken up into the computer model is because of this amino acids. So we have the simple amino acids, we have the aromatic amino acids, we have the hydroxylic amino acids, sulfur containing amino acids, and we have the acidic amino acids, we have basic amino acids, and we have the amidic amino acids. So out of this protein, whatever it might be the structure, how many residues it has, the basic thing, all the proteins are going to be corresponded to only these particular 21 amino acids. And these amino acids are classified depending upon the hydrophobic and hydrophilic nature. And this is what it makes that particular protein to bind to our particular ligand or a drug candidate, which is a weakly basic or weakly acidic drug molecule. And it has the capability to get dissociated into ionized product when it reaches a specific pH in our body. So this is how the building up of a particular protein. So if the acetylcholinesterase is going to be made up of two chains, which is going to constitute a 527 amino acid in A chain and 548 amino acids in B chain, and how the alpha helix, beta, the tertiary, the quaternary structures are going to build up is what is going to be determined in the bioinformatics point of view. But as a starting, who's someone there who's going to start the concept or learn the concept of molecular docking, I would prefer they would go from this initial stages of identification of the protein, what are the makeup by which these proteins are made up of, and what are the types of amino acids, and what are the types of hydrophilic amino acids, what are the types of hydrophobic amino acids, and how the binding sites of the proteins are built up by this hydrophobic amino acids and hydrophilic amino acids. So hydrophobic amino acids are a type of amino acids with a non-polar nature, whereas this hydrophilic amino acids are type of amino acids with polar nature. So the polarity is going to be non-polar, and this one is going to be polar. And the side chain which we see in the hydrophobic amino acids is going to be long, whereas in this hydrophilic amino acids is going to be either short side chains or it is going to be with hydrophilic groups. So dipole moment for hydrophobic, it's going to be small dipole, whereas it's going to be large dipole for the hydrophobic. And coming to the interaction with water, so even in the molecular docking study, this water to be kept or to be removed is still a dilemma or the oscillation. And if a ligand molecule is trying to displace a water molecule, it can be given some score, because 70% of our body makeup is going to be made up of these biomolecules, which are nothing but the macromolecules like proteins, carbohydrates, fats, lipids, out of which water is going to play a major role. So that is the concept why which this amino acid repulsion of hydrophobic and attraction of water should also be taken into consideration. And coming to the occurrence of this, hydrophobic is going to be present at the center, whereas this hydrophilic is going to be on the surface. And if you see the examples for hydrophobic, it's going to be simple amino acids like glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine, proline, and all this. And the hydrophilic is going to be serine, threonine. These are sulfur-containing amino acids, and basic amino acids like asparagine, then glutamine, and then you have the tyrosine. And coming to the polar amino acids and how their charges are differentiated, so I made the effort to put it up in the. So the acid-containing amino acids are negatively charged, and if you see, they are going to fall under the polar amino acids. And apart from that, simple amino acids and sulfur-containing amino acids are going to fall under hydrophobic non-polar amino acids. So this is the basic things which we need to identify. The receptor or proteins or enzymes or transporters is going inside the computer model as a X-ray crystallography or NMR structure, taking into consideration all these amino acid residues that are being built up in the protein chain. And coming to the identification of the ligand, so I would go to the starting stage of a pharmacologist where the identification ligands are usually obtained from a plant source or an animal source or minerals or synthetic or semi-synthetic compounds where it is obtained in an industry in a larger scale, or microbiological source. So chemotherapy, drugs, and finally the recombinant DNA technology. So these are going to be the antibodies, so which are going to be larger molecules, same like the protein. So these are the ligands which are going to go into the computer model as a chemical structure. So each and every chemical that is present or obtained from a plant source or animal source or minerals is either going to be a protein, or it's going to be a chemical substance, or it's going to be a long chain amino acids like the monoclonal antibodies. So these are the places from which this ligand has come, and what is the source by which this ligand will go into the particular modeling is the chemistry of ligands or the periodic table of the elements comes into play. So whatever chemical structure the source of the drug is going to be, it's going to fall under the particular chemistry, that is the periodic table of the elements. And there are approximately 18 into 7 and 118 elements, so which comprises of all the metals, all the hydrogens, carbon, oxygen, sulfur. So any structure you name it, so they come along with the molecular weight and the molecular structure and the atomic number. So with the help of this, the molecular properties of a specific ligand is being calculated. Okay, so that is the concept. Behind the identification of this ligand going into the animal simulation model. So any chemical structure, so either it will go as a 2D, and once it is prepared, it will be automatically converted into a 3D structure with which it will be prepared for evaluation.
Hello, Amina.
Madam, can you mute the video?
Photo എടുക്കാം.
So this is a concept. Yes, madam. So this is the concept by which the ligands are going into the computer models for the simulation process. So I told about the proteins, so made up of the amino acids and how the amino acids residues are going to build up, and how the selection of the proteins like enzymes, receptor, transporter, or ion channels is a must. And you need to identify the ligands from which source you are going to determine it. So all the ligands are going to fall under any one of the periodic tables or classifications by which it is going to be projected. Okay. And coming to the types of docking. So as I said, there are small molecule docking, which we call it as the ligand-ligand docking. And coming to the small molecule, large molecule docking, we call it as the ligand protein docking. And then we have the two large molecules dockings, which we call it as the protein-protein docking, which is taking place in the case of monoclonal antibodies or recombinant DNA technology products with a specific protein. And apart from these three types, depending upon the structure of the ligand or the protein, there are also other things like flexible docking and rigid docking. So flexible docking is one which you are trying to keep the receptor in a flexible manner, and you are trying to pave way for the ligand to bind in a particular receptor or a protein at various poses, and you are going to determine it. Whereas the rigid docking is you are going to keep the protein as a rigid, and once if a molecular ligand comes and binds to its pocket, there is no way for the other ligand molecule to bind it at the same point and determine the docking score. So these are the types of docking which can be performed using molecular docking softwares. And with that, the introductions for this docking is done. So we can just proceed with the first docking tool, so which is going to be the Moldgrow virtual docker. Okay. So once you open this particular virtual docker with the Moldgrow, so this is the first screen what you're going to see. So this is the workspace where the added ligands or added proteins are going to be displayed. And this is the properties if we want to analyze for that particular proteins or ligand with which we have incorporated into the working space. So this we call it as the workspace. And once we initiate this particular parameter, we have the descriptions of all the things that has been registered with this particular timing of the programming running. So I have selected a molecule which is going to be determined for this particular experimentation is a acetylcholine esterase. So just I'm trying to import it. So once you try to import it, so you find it automatically, this software allows if any bonds are missing, so it will try to incorporate it on its own. And if any orders or hybridization is missing, it will try to incorporate. Any explicit hydrogens are missing, it will try to incorporate. So this is how the imported molecules would try to prepare its particular proteins on its own. And if you see, there are protein structure errors which have been occurred to any one of these processes, which can be automatically rectified with the inbuilt software that is already available in this particular software. And coming to the import, so the various factors, if you see, this is the particular protein. So acetylcholine esterase with which we have this 6F25 A chain, which is made up of 4143 atoms, and the B chain, which is made up of 4161 atoms. So you have, if you click this ligands, so you see already these molecules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 molecules are ligands are already present in this particular protein molecule. And coming to the water molecules, so you see 205 water molecules are already present in the crystal structure that is being deposited in the protein data bank. So apart from the protein data bank, so which serves as the basic dictionary or the source for all the proteins to be identified, we also have UniProt. So another major software source for protein data bank, same like the thing, but this protein has to be incorporated into this particular workspace in a PDB format. So the PDB format has been downloaded, and the next step what I have done is I have imported the molecule. So in this case, I'm just going to cleave this chlorine atoms, these sulfate molecules and all this which are as cofactors, and I'm going to keep the water molecules as such, and I'm going to remove all the ligands. So I'm going to just estimate or bring in the macromolecule or the biomolecule water into the workspace and the particular proteins, that is the A chain and the B chain. So once I import it, the protein will get automatically prepared by all the constituents that is already done, and you have the protein structure being incorporated. So obviously it is going to be a dimer, and if you want to see how exactly the thing looks like, so we have this tools to view the sequence viewer. So if you click at the sequence viewer and if you find it, so automatically show 3-letter code. So you can clearly identify this 6525A chain is made up of amino acids. So, and if you go through, it is made up of 543 amino acids, whereas the B chain is made up of 543 residues. Okay, so this you can easily identify, and you can see how many amino acids residues are present in this particular sequence. So this is the concept behind it. And coming to the import of this particular ligand molecule, so I have already downloaded one neostigmine, so which I'm going to incorporate it, and you can see there are no warnings, and preparations as such the same will be done, and the particular ligand will be imported. So this is the active ligand, and you can see this is also has come to the workspace along with the protein molecule. So if you want to click the protein molecule and you try to fit it to the screen, so automatically it will get, so you can see this particular protein molecule here, and this particular ligand is there present in the workspace. So the next step, so we have identified the ligand, we have identified the protein, and we are going to perform the docking process. So for that, we need to detect the binding site. So in order to detect the binding site, we need to render the preparation of the protein. So I need to click on this protein molecule and I will create a surface. So the surface would be created for the protein molecule and the water. And if you see, you can create it depending upon the electrostatic interaction, the hydrophobicity interaction, or the solid color. But basically, as per the rules or the standard things, we go according to the electrostatic interaction. And once I click OK, you see automatically the grid points are being generated and the protein surface is being created. So once the surface is being created, so it's something like you are preparing a grid and you are trying to identify how this particular protein, depending upon the hydrophobicity and the hydrophilicity of the amino acids, are being categorized. And once you prepare this particular surface, you to detect, find it internally in this particular molecule, depending upon the expanded van der Waals force or the molecular surface. So as per the standard things, we go with the expanded van der Waals force. And if you want to increase or decrease the cavity, you can determine accordingly. So if you want to see the top 3 or the top 2 cavities where which the hydrophilic interactions of the amino acids are more inside. So if I select 3 detect cavities and I click, automatically the grid points would be generated. And if you see here in the workspace, there will be addition apart from the surfaces, like it would display the detect cavities. So once the detect cavities are formed, so this is the 3 cavities which a volume of 224 and volume of 195 and volume of 195 are being produced. So these cavities are being simulated by the docking things as an open source. And if you see here, these are present inside this particular dockings ligands. So these are the 3 binding pockets with which we have identified. So if you click and see one by one, this is the cavity 1, and this is the cavity 2, and this is the cavity 3, which has been built up by the surface inside the thing. and you have a look at here, still your ligand is there in the workspace. So this is how the cavities is being detected after the surface is being built up by the particular protein. And once you have detected cavities, so the preparation and the protein of the both the ligand and the protein is done when you imported the molecule itself, and then you had created the surface in the protein, and then you have determined the cavities. So now coming to the docking tool. So how we are going to prepare the basic fundamental flexible docking. So you try to go to the docking and you try to open the docking wizard. And once this docking wizard is open, so you see here all the ligands and the proteins and all the water molecules are automatically selected from the workspace. And if you go to the next, so you will determine this particular thing, how the scoring functions are going to be determined on the binding side. So here you have two scoring functions, that is the Moldog score and the plant score. Okay, so in this, the automatically by standardized thing we go for the Moldog score. And if you select this plant score, you see this distant atoms include the hydrogens and torsions and displaceable water molecules. So since we have taken water molecules, if the ligand tries to displace the water, you can determine how much score has to be given. So obviously for anything you will go by the Moldog score. And if we click the Moldog score, the ligand evaluations will be done on internal ES, on internal hydrogen bond interaction, or any type of sp2 torsions being developed, and you can give also the values for displaceable water molecule. So these are the things which you want according to your need. You can select it or you need not select it. And coming to the binding side, if you try to determine the cavity, all the three cavities would be found. So if you want, you can just click it and see. So automatically the radius of the things, if you just check it out, it would increase, it would decrease. And the detect cavities would given preference depending upon the ranking. So cavity 1 would always be the best thing to choose with an optimal radius covering all the parameter with 20 angstrom. Okay, so once you see it, this particular cavity that is present here is the place where you are trying to make the ligand bind to this particular site by identifying this particular cavity. And coming to the next customized search algorithm. So the algorithm, again, we have this GPU screening, which you gives a specific score. And apart from this, we have Moldog optimizer. So if you click here, you can see what are the parameters that is being developed. So population size, the parameter setting is going to be developed, whether the termination scheme is going to be variance based or it's going to be root mean square division based, or whether it's going to follow the scheme 1 or scheme 2. And if you select Moldog SE, automatically the parameter settings will vary. And if you try to see this illiterate samplex, again you see the parameter settings are changing. And if you see the CPU, again this is an integral GPU scoring functions. So this is just an energy minimization process where the hydrogen bonds are trying to get optimized, and you can get alternatively a value. So, but depending upon the flexible docking and the standard docking procedures, we always go for the Moldog optimizer, and the runs would be like in the in vitro testings or animal modelings where we used to keep 3 triplicates or n is equal to 6 or 10. So same like that, that is the number of runs which is going to determine it. So each run is going to determine or output a specific pose at each and every step of our docking output. So once I have selected it, the final thing is the closed clustering. And in this clustering phase, you can easily identify how many poses you want to identify. Okay. So if I select, I want just the 3 poses, and this is 1 pose for each run has to be done in virtual screening mode. So as per the standard things, you go with this particular thing where the cluster similar process, where the root mean square division, that is the RMSD threshold, is kept at 1, and the similar multiple RMSD threshold is kept at 1, and the number of poses is going to be recovered as 3. So once I select none, so sometimes there are chances where you can find these kind of remarks that is being developed. Whereas this particular software has the capacity to make it prepared in the last minute and try to minimize the errors. So if you see some proteins are cropped or incomplete, check if the faulty residues are close to the binding site. If not, automatically the docking procedure would try to start. So the following instances was found wrong number of atoms, that is 4 in arginine 482, and you expected 11 atoms. Okay, so if you try to continue, that would be automatically rectified based on the probability or the statistics of the nearby amino acids, and it will start automatically. So coming to the docking execution process, you have this run docking in a separate core, or run docking in multiple process, or create a docking script, but don't run it now. So this will take, if you're going to screen for 10,000 molecules or 1 lakh molecules, it will take a maximum of 1 hour or 2 hours for the entire system to run. In some cases, I have seen in many research institutes where the software is used to run day and night 24 hours without any rest. Okay, so those kind of softwares where large RAM capacities and storage spaces are being determined, like supercomputers are being incorporated into this docking software. So as per the standard protocol for molecular docking flexible docking procedures, the running of this particular docking would always take place in a separate process. And if I click this start, automatically the docking process would start in a separate molecule. And the neostigmine combination with this particular acetylcholine esterase, so it will automatically be running out in a separate thing. And if you see this graph that is being developed for the different number of runs, and if you want to see the best pose, that is the blue, if you see this is the energy of best pose, and if you see this red, it is the mean energy of the candidate population, that is the entire population. So we have determined 3 runs, and simultaneously you can see the log, how these proteins are being calculated and how the poses are being developed. So the current pose for the particular ligand, if we use more than 1 ligand, so automatically each and every ligand will try to develop 3 poses, and you would try to get this particular Moldoc score as well as the Rerong score. So once this process is completely over, so each and everything will try to get incorporated, and you see a tabular column here. So the status docking 4456 from unnamed complexes MVDML is running, and this is a batch process. And if you try to see after the completion of this particular project, so how to take a particular ligand binded at a specific site of a particular protein. So we have determined the binding site, we have determined the thing, and you see, since it is a 1 ligand, 1 protein, it has taken just 2 to 3 minutes for the entire process to complete. So in this case, it is only 1 ligand, but if you see, I have kept 3 runs, and I have recovered 3 poses. Okay, so totally the pose what I have recovered is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 poses have been recovered. So once you see the results as in this particular column, so you try to drag this result as I do and try to keep it in the workspace. So once you drag this here from this position and you put it here, automatically the ligands or poses will be developed. So 3 runs have been given, and I've said only 3 poses for this particular ligand. I've got all the 3 ligands. Okay, and coming to the Moldoc score, so this is the pose 0, 0, 4, 4, 4, 5, 6. The first pose which has scored a maximum Moldoc, I mean the rank 1 molecule with the Moldoc score of least -81. So when I say it's going to be the least, it is going to have the least affinity to bind to that particular enzyme. So acetylcholine esterase. So next you have the higher concentration. So if 0 is higher or minus is higher, obviously 0 is the higher. So I am saying the Moldoc score with the least value. So the more the negativity score, the more the affinity of the ligand to the protein is going to be. And once I click this particular dynamic proteins and the top ligands, so if I want to keep all the proteins selected, you see this particular pose organizer will come into this particular workspace. So here I've selected all the 3 poses, and if I click OK, all the poses would be incorporated here. Okay, so if I see the poses, so you can clearly see these poses. So once I click here, you can see in the detecting cavity. So I'll select deselect all the constraints and all the proteins, surfaces, water molecules, so constraints, ligands, and I will select this cavity 1, and I will select the poses. So you see here, I will fit to this screen. So you have identified a particular binding pocket in a protein, okay, and you have seen this particular all the ligands with various poses are finding to this particular detect cavities. Okay, so how, for publication point of view, you need to take certain inputs out of this particular concept, right? So how it is usually done. So how the export of that particular ligand is done is usually you try to identify this particular pose organizer view. So you click on this pose and you try to open this ligand energy inspector tool. So once you open this ligand energy inspector tool, so you have this targets with which all the poses are being displayed. So I select this particular pose and I select this hide non-selected residues. So automatically all the residues, these are the residues with which a particular pose has been governed to. So only one pose at a time with the protein molecule, and I remove the cavities and I create this particular protein. So this, I'll try to render this pose a different stick model so that it can be easily differentiated from the amino acids. And if I see here, there are hydrogen bond interactions and dipole moment interactions that is taking place within the binding site that has been postulated to this particular neostigmine with the particular adjacent amino acids as a target. If you see, the neostigmine has been bound to this particular arginine residues of 247, 296, 417, and aspartate of 233, thionine 4. So I have selected all these molecules, and this is which is being displayed over here. Okay, and if I try to create labels for the identified thing, so there are options. So we can select only the residue name and index, or the residue name ID chain. So if I select this, automatically it is going to be named. Okay, so you see here, so this is the residue and this is going to be the chain. And if you want to make it a little bit clear, so once you label it, your labels will automatically come. So if you want to delete it, you can remove the checked labels from one workspace. And once you do that, all the labels will go off. And once you want to rename it with other proteins or create labels, so you make it as a residue name and index. So automatically the number and the residue part of this A chain will be located. And if you want to make a note of what is this particular ligand is all about, so you decide to select the pose and you create the label. So it's going to be the molecule wise name, where the name and you see here, this is the molecular weight 223.29, and this is the pose of that particular ligand. And once you have identified it or placed it in a specific place, so you right click here and you fit it to screen, and you try to make it enlarged or try to rotate it and make the view of everything clear. you go to this rendering and you select this high quality tray where you are trying to make it to a maximum pixel. So a high pixel size would try to do the same, and you select the output file by which you want the output for your publication point of view. So you can save it as a bitmap image, and you can save it as an output file. So this would be in a PNG format or JPEG format, whichever format you need it. And this would be the output for your specific docking outcome. Okay, so with that, the Moldro virtual docker, the basic docking procedure with one ligand and one protein, and how the screenshot view of that particular protein is taken is completed. Now going to the next software, so which is going to be the Mastro. So this is going to be the Schrodinger software. So this is still more useful than this particular Moldro, but the Moldro has now updated its version. But Schrodinger 2, every month they try to update it using the molecular modeling and the statistical team that is being developed. So the first and the basic thing, the same acetylcholine esterase and neostigmine, I'm going to do it with the Mastro project. So for the first thing, what you do is when creating this with the Mastro project, you try to create a directory. Okay, so you try to create a directory, or you try to choose it. So create a new directory and you try to choose it. Whatever you do for this project would be saved in this particular format. Okay, so now the first step is the creation of the directory. So once the directory is created, we are going to identify the protein. Okay, so we can import the structures, or we can open import from project or whatever we want. Okay, so the basic thing is we are going to import the structure of protein, and we are going to import the ligand. So this is the protein which have been identified, and once clicked, automatically the protein comes to the workspace. So here the parameters would be different to rotate it. So if you see it, the same parameters we have identified. And if you click here, once the protein has been incorporated in Moldro virtual docker, we try to remove the cofactor, we try to remove all the ligand, and we try to keep only the water molecule and the protein molecule, right? But in this case, it's not going to be the thing. All the ligands and the proteins have been incorporated. So now how I'm going to locate how many ligands are there in this? So if you click this ligand, so automatically you will be seeing what are the ligands that is going to be present, and this is going to be the proteins. So if you have a look at this, so once I click the ligand, only the ligand point of view is going to take place, and there are 4 ligands that has been found here. Okay, so this is where you see this one particular ligand are being projected or shown in this particular concept. So if I click ligand here, automatically the ligands will be projected, and these are the ligands which is already present in the protein structure. And in Schrodinger, we can keep this particular ligand in place to identify the binding site. Okay, so you can prepare the grid around this particular ligand Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. So depending upon this ligand, you try to process the proteins. Okay. And for the protein preparation, what is the first process we need to do is all the jobs, tasks, and tables would be produced here. So first one would be your protein preparation wizard. So you need to prepare the protein. So for that, we need to identify the preparation wizard. If we want to import the protein when you are connected to the internet, I must have connected or typed this 6F25 over here, and automatically the protein might have been imported here. So same like in the process, but this protein has already been imported, and you try to produce these concepts. So we have the job prefix, and you have this align, assign bond orders, add hydrogen, create thing. And you can use these options like fill in missing side chains using prime and fill in missing loops using prime. So where you try to insert the missing amino acids using this particular thing. And the first step that is involved in the protein preparation wizard is the pre-process. Okay. And this particular epic is going to be the each and everything. If you try to understand the basic concept, if you click here, you can read what that particular parameter is used for. And if you keep in this particular thing, the main use of that particular wizard is going to be visible. And if you do so each and everything you can study on yourself, and you can identify it for what purpose, and you can see, check by monitoring or modifying all these kind of things. But as of now, the fill in missing side chains and the fill in missing loops of using prime has to be clicked. And once you click, you can pre-process it. And once you click the pre-process here, you check your assigning bond orders, and automatically this particular job would start running. So the job that would be start running, you choose moves with this may take few minutes. Okay. So choosing that will take some time. So in the meantime, we can prepare the structure for our molecule, that is the neostigma. So once I try to import it, so this particular molecule has been imported, which is the ligand. So this is there inside the workspace. So it has been imported. And if you click here, you see the protein. And if you click here, it is the 4556. And if you click here, the jobs. So the preparation wizard which we have given is running in the background. So now we are going to prepare this ligand using this ligand preparation or lig prep. Okay. So you see here simultaneously you can do many works with the ligand or with the protein. So once you see here, this protein has been pre-processed. So we have clicked the pre-process, and that particular protein has been pre-processed. And if you see this, so all this process will be taking place in the background. So if I select this particular thing, so preparation wizard is being completed, and now we are going to task, and we are going to prepare the lig preparation. So ligand preparation will open a tool like this. And if you see which one you want to evaluate, so it's going to be from the file or workspace or project table. So this is the workspace navigator, and this is the one which have been selected. So you can identify this particular protein that is present there. So the protein preparation wizard is there. So protein preparation problems. So there is a problem that has been identified in the protein and which has been rectified. So this can be updated like again. So add the missing side chain and you try to update. So once I click there, so you try to update it, and automatically the protein preparation pre-process will be done. And once the pre-process is over, you have a protein that is being displayed as 6F25 pre-processed. So once that is done, again the protein preparation wizard, you need to go to the second one where you review and modify the things which has been done in the pre-process. So since if you want to modify any of the things, it can be done, or else you can go for the refined process. So under this refined process, we have two parameters that can be identified. So one, we need to optimize the protein, and the other one, we need to minimize the protein. So once we do the optimized protein, here the process will come as 6F25 optimized. And once we minimize the protein, the final protein preparation wizard, that is the 6F2Y minimized, will be displayed over here. Okay. And depending upon the crystal symmetry about the neighboring crystal mates during optimization, and you try to minimize the hydrogen bond of the alpha species, depending upon your requirement, you put this hydrogen bond assignment and you try to optimize it. So once you try to optimize it, automatically the job of this particular optimization will start taking place here. So this optimization has been initiated. So simultaneously, I'm going to this ligand preparation wizard and I'm going to create this particular file name. So this is present in the workspace. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to open the ligand preparations, and I'm going to prepare this from the workspace. So automatically I'm trying to generate all the possibles. And if you want to identify many number of ligands, and if you want to create only this particular formula or this particular molecular weight, or depending upon the Lipinski rule of 5, the number of rotatable bonds should not be greater than 5, and the number of hydrogen bond acceptors should not be less than 5, and hydrogen bond donors should not be greater than 5, and it should not be molecular weight should not be greater than 500 Daltons. All those parameters can be incorporated, and you can add all this for ligand filtering. If you are going to incorporate it from a ligand of more than 10,000 or 15,000 or even 1 lakh database. So the molecules with only these parameters, like drug-like potential candidates, would fall into this particular docking. And this is the main use of this create. So you try to filter your ligand using this create database, and you try to generate the possible types. What is the target at the particular pH where your particular drug is going to act? And you can desalt it or generate your Tatomus and retain the specific chirality. So this is specifically for chiral atoms like LIVO or dextro, where you want to maintain the chirality. And if you see here, this is going to be the LigPrep1 molecule, which is going to be identified. And this we have selected, that is the workspace that is included in the ligand. And once I click the run, so automatically, if you see here, the ligand preparation wizards will also automatically take place, and it is started. So both the processes are running, that is the preparation wizard protein assignment and the LigPrep. So both the preparation of the protein and the preparation of the ligand is being done simultaneously. So in this case, this is the advantage, but the process here is it takes more time for the protein to get prepared, and the ligands also to get prepared. So if this process is going to take for more than 20 to 30 minutes, the job can be saved at any time by clicking here and saving your checkpoint at each and every point of time when you try to perform this. So you see here, your ligand preparation has been outputted. And if you see here, the pre-processing is still running. And once this pre-processing is over, the next step, what would I do is, I would go to the protein. I will try to restrain the minimization process, and I will try to minimize this. So once this minimizing is done, automatically the 6F25 minimized product will come. So what I'll do is, I'll go open a project for which I have done this protein minimization, which has been already done. Okay. So, and we'll see. Okay, let it run. So we'll save this project as in Integration Preparation Wizard as a project AICTE. We'll save it and we'll try to open the project which is already done. Yes. So if you see here, this is the protein which has been minimized, and you see the docking screen with which the protein has been identified. Okay, and you see this minimized thing is there, and the ligand preparation has been done, and this glide dock has been performed for the minimized and the thing. So I would just try to delete this process, and I would try to start it from our ligand prepared molecule. So this is the ligand prepared molecule, so which we have here, and this is the minimized molecule which we have it for the protein. So this is the minimized protein, and this is our ligand molecule. So now how to build up the grid. Okay, so the grid preparation or the binding site preparation is the one we are going to see next. So for that we need to go to the task. So we have seen lig preparation, we have seen the protein preparation wizard. Now coming to the receptor grid generation. So we need to select this protein, and the task is we are going to select this receptor grid generation. So once I click here, so I'm going to identify a molecule with which I'm going to select a grid. Okay, so here it just says pick to identify the ligand molecule. So as I said, there is already the molecules are the ligands which is present inside the protein, so which can be fixed. So if you see here, once I click the ligand, automatically the green color structures or the proteins is being highlighted. So I can just pick up this ligand and automatically I see the grid being generated. Okay, so this is how I try to pick up a ligand which is already there in the protein molecule, and which I will pave way for my ligand to go and bind. Okay, so because this binding site has the more amount of hydrophilic proteins or the hydrophobic interaction sites or the binding pockets, that's why this particular ligand, which is already extracrystallographed, has been deposited in the protein data bank. So once I done this, I go to this particular receptor grid generation tool, and what I'll try to do is I'll run this glide grid docking. So once I run this, automatically the grid will be generated around that particular molecule, and you see this green color job, the grid 1 has been started. And once this job has been started, automatically you will find the grid being generated. So apart from this, if this ligand is not there in the particular protein and you want to select or run a different parameter, in that case you will go for surface binding site predictions, where you try to operate your workspace and you try to identify the proteins which is trying to give you more amount of create surface, as we have seen in the Moldro virtual docker, and it would try to expose the surface to you for the binding of the ligand. Okay, so this is how you try to do the grid generation. So, and once the grid is generated, so the jobs will be said like it has completed, and then we go for the ligand docking. So if I click this ligand docking, so you see the grid generated file. Once it has come here, I would select it from the file where it is put as glide grid 1. Okay, so the output will be like that once the job is finished. So this is already a grid which has been generated for this particular protein molecule which I have incorporated, or else you try to select the glide grid that is available or browsed in a particular project. So our project is getting developed, but the previous projects, I see this grid being developed. So once the grid is generated, automatically that would be incorporated here. And these are the settings we have it for the ligand docking. So when we have the output, so same like Modulo Virtual Docker, how many posts we need to have, and how many poses are the structures we need to select, and what is the poses per ligand. So how many poses you want out of the particular ligand, and then a post docking minimization can take place. And after this post docking minimization, the number of poses or ligands can be included, and then you can apply strain correction times and all this, and you can also compute this RMSD values for this particular ligand geometrics, or in some cases you can go for the advanced settings. And coming to the torsional constraints, so these are the constraints if you are fixed for your ligand before the start of the docking process. All the torsions would be displayed. Torsions are nothing but the rotational points which you are trying to give it to the amino acids. So each and specific amino acids would also try to identify, and you try to select it. And coming to the constraints, so here these constraints can be grouped, and each group of constraints must be satisfied. So these constraints again can be incorporated only when the start of the docking process. And coming to the core, so if you're trying to use the core pattern comparison, so how this particular things has to be incorporated, and how the core molecules has to be picked up, everything can be assigned. And coming to the thing, so high throughput virtual screening. So if you are going for more than 1 lakh compounds or the other things, you can go for this high throughput virtual screening. And coming to the standard precisions, so you opt for this particular thing when one molecule and the one thing is one protein or ligand is done. And the type of ligand sampling, so whether you want a flexible type of docking or a rigid type of docking, so whatever type of docking you want, you can select it. And after you select all this, so you have this glide dock sp1 molecules, so with the particular product, and you try to run the particular product. So once this particular job has been done, so the grid has been generated. Okay, and if we try to select the minimized one, and we go for the ligand docking process, so we need to select the grid, so which is available as a zip file. So this is the zip file which has been created, and you can see when the creation has been done exactly at 2:50 p.m. by today, this particular glide grid zip has been formed. So you need to select it, you need to open it, and you need to select all the parameters for the ligand docking as your thing, and just you need to click on the run. So please specify a ligand. So this is the ligand with which the docking has to be done. So we go for the ligand docking, and we have selected the grid, we have selected the ligand, and we are trying to run it. Specify a ligand. So receptor grid is going to be from file. The ligand is going to be from the file which is going to be present in the workspace, and we have selected the grid, and we are starting the running process. So once the running is done, automatically the job would be initiated, and this glide dock SP would be found here automatically. So the minimized protein along with the minimized ligand, automatically once the program is over, you will get this glide dock SP1, for which the particular docking process has been completed. You will just get it here. Okay, and this will also take place around 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll take an already a project that is available, which is completed, for which, okay, the job is done. Okay, you see automatically you have this glide dock SP. So you have the minimized protein, which is docked with the minimized ligand. Okay, so if you see here, it is going to be the interactions that is going to take place with the docking process. So if you try to click the ligand interactions with the glide dock SP, what you have seen, and if you click here, automatically you will get it for all the ligands that has been bound to this particular proteins. And if you try to keep this particular ligand and you try to get the ligand interactions, so you will try to find out this particular values that is being incorporated. Yeah, so finally the output of this particular docking for neostigmine on the identified ligand would be identified in a 2D structure like this. And if you want to see exactly how this 3D structure looks like, so you try to pinch this and you try to fit it to the screen. So this is the particular protein that has been pinned. And if you see, this is the ligand that is bound to this particular protein structures that is being present. And if you want to witness what type of docking, so hydrogen bond is there or not, pi interaction is there or not. So if you click here, you can see this 2 pi interaction bonds that is being developed. So this 1 pi interactions and this 1 pi interactions. And if you see this good molecule, so all the parameters can be easily identified. And this is the particular ligand that has been identified as a pose, and it has been found in this particular structure. And this is how you try to visualize. So there are no non-covalent bonds are present. There are pi interactions, and the contacts and clashes we have. So we have bad clashes as well. Okay. So this is how you try to identify the ligand. So bad clashes, good clashes, pi interaction, non-covalent interaction. And if you try to want the 2D structure view directly, you can click it and you can identify for all the molecules even present in the protein already. But we have done our thing for the unknown molecule 900, which is the neostigmine. So this is the neostigmine structure, and you have seen this hydrogen bonds and pi bond interaction with this tyrosine 341 residues. And this is what you try to postulate in a tabular column. You try to put the structure, you might try to put the values, and you try to put the interaction amino acids with this particular binding pocket of the neostigmine. Okay, so this is the concept by which docking process is done in a Schrodinger, and every time you try to save the checkpoint, and you can save project as, so this is going to be a project which I'm going to save it as ACTPRJ, and if I save it, So anytime I just want to open this project and I just want to have a look or glance how my ligand or everything has been identified, it will be clearly visible for me to identify this particular ligand and protein interaction at any time at my ease. And you see this particular process of docking by two softwares, that is Modbro Virtual Docker and Schrodinger. So various interface and various type of computer programming languages and various type of parameters that has been incorporated, trying to make this particular docking output or the ligand binding interactions in a very good manner. Okay, so this is the basic concept in an in silico pharmacological evaluation, where you try to identify the ligand activity, the pharmacological activity, using in silico tools by identifying the proper protein of interest for a particular disease or disorder. I take this opportunity to thank the organizers of Bapatla College of Pharmacy for giving me a wonderful opportunity to deliver my knowledge to my level in this AICTE sponsored refresher program.
Sir,
Any doubts or queries? Please
yes, sir.
let me
Yes,
know.
sir. Yes, sir.
Please,
Sir,
sir.
it was a nice talk
Yeah.
from your side. Sir, if you can elaborate how we can identify the active site by hydrophobic areas, hydrophilic areas in Schrodinger.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, the site space software prediction is there. And apart from that, if you want to look at other softwares, there are also various softwares like QSite binding software, which is also a tool which is there available as another software to find only the binding site predictions. But that QSite finder is also available in the internal thing of this. I'll just share my screen and I'll show you. So if you look at here, the task, so there are various binding site prediction softwares. So apart from the ligand, how I selected and identified it for a particular binding pocket with the already existing ligand. So if you see this task, one second. So this QSite binder, okay, sir. So which was available previously as a separate molecule, they have incorporated into the Schrodinger itself. And apart from this, we also have sitemap predictions. Sitemap predictions. So once you try to identify if this is a sitemap prediction, so which you try to create binding site surfaces for your molecule, and you try to create your receptor surface and all this, and if you try to run this particular binding site surface, all the molecules that have been clarified as hydrophilic amino acids or hydrophobic amino acids, and you will have the molecule list like the surface 1, the surface 2, the surface 3, the surface 4, and the surface 5. So the method what I have used here is depending upon the ligand, I have identified the binding site. But this binding site surface creator would create binding surfaces, and from that, the molecule or the surface which is approximately or near to 1 would be the best surface for a hydrophilic and hydrophobic combination of amino acid interactions. So this,
Sir, can we see on this project which you have done?
Yes, sir.
if we-
Actually, I have done this project. Yes. Same
Yes,
like in Molgrow. Okay, sir. How you create this binding surface instead of this grid, the surface will be created.
Okay, sir. Sir, now the blue color is hydrophilic.
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Okay.
And automatically, when the job is run, using the
Okay.
site surface. The binding pockets will be determined and your sites will be displayed here, sir. You can select which site you want.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, it's great. Great, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Sir, madam, any other doubts or clarifications? Both Moldgrow, Virtual Docker and Schrodinger. So I have been attending many workshops and conferences to come to this level to say just a thing what I have got to my brain. So hope it has thrown some light on this docking process and enlightened all of you. But still everybody, as I feel like I used to learn always rather than teach everybody, and this is the first time I've given an opportunity to share my knowledge on what I have learned so far in my life about the docking process. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to even contact me for any doubts or clarifications.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, what is gliding score, sir? A glide score.
Sir, the glide score is actually, you see this particular thing, once you prepare this glide done, so the scoring will be done for each and every ligand. Like the Moldoc score, what we have, depending upon the least concentration, there is also glide score. That is the output parameter for this glide software. Okay, sir. So that is the interaction what I have shown to you. And coming to the glide score, if we go to the workspace or the window and we try to project the project table, you see here, sir, 6F25, this is the minimized product. And this is our ligand, which is bind to a particular surface. Okay. And if you try to come to this, one second, sir. If I try to come to the end of this particular score of this docking thing, you will have the docking score. Sir, can you see this, sir?
No, sir. Your cursor is stuck somewhere else.
Here, sir, glide score. Minus 7.835.
Okay, what does it infer, sir?
1 second, sir, I'll show you. This is the screen. Yeah. Can you see here, sir? Glide score?
Yeah, right, sir.
Yeah, this
Minus
is the score. Actually, we get it from the RMS derivative OPLS 2005 value. And you see this, sir. The total flags, job name, the ionization penalty, the tautomer probability, the chirality, and all these parameters will be trying to make up or build this glide score, sir. So it is going to be a parameter of minimum 20 to maximum 40, which is going to make this glide score. And if this glide score is least, the molecule has the, or the ligand has the affinity to bind to the protein more. So that is the glide score is all about. And almost if you see this docking score and the glide score, which is going to be developed, is most probably it's going to be the same, sir.
Okay, lesser the value, more will be the binding.
Yes, exactly, sir. Lesser the value, more is the affinity, sir. We don't know how would be the efficacy, but the affinity with which it binds is going to be the same. Because for an agonist or an antagonist, the affinity remains the same, but the efficacy is going to change. Right, sir?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And, how these, docking studies are helpful for toxicological screening, sir?
Sir, actually, I have committed to do the toxicity estimation software tool, sir. So if you permit me, I will show you that this is another software. Actually, I just try to do it to you. I'll just show you the hint, sir. If possible, you just go through it. So a software is called as toxicity estimation software tool is there, sir.
Fine.
So same like nowadays, I'll share that particular topic, sir. So can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, fine.
So this is the toxicity estimation software tool. by which the QSAR methodologies, 3D QSAR methodologies, already they have identified the list of chemicals and they have plotted it in the 3D grid. So they have followed hierarchical method, single model method, group contribution method, and various methods have been adopted. And they have tested it in fatted menu, Daphne magna, Tetrahymena permis, even oral rat LD50 value have been done, sir. So the software is actually here. So you can download the software, and as a SDF or mole format, if you try to put your ligand in this, all the parameters will be automatically open to you, sir. So before you go for animal studies, you can perform the ligand. For example, if you identify a plant extract where more number of phytoconstituents are there, you list out or analyze the phytoconstituents using HPLC or GCMS analysis, and you have identified 10 compounds for which is present in a particular plant extract. You can test the toxicity of all the 10 phytoconstituents using this software, estimate the oral rat LD50 value, and you can present it in front of the IAEC saying that using in silico tools and using in vitro models. So in vitro, you can go for brine chip lethality assay. So with these two models, you can go and speak in front of the IAC, requesting the person, I have done in silico, I have done in vitro, and I am trying here to do with the in vivo models. So automatically you will get the project, sir, because you have made some effort to do preliminary toxicity in silico and in vitro models, sir. So you will be given preferential, and without any more questions, they will allot you the animals, sir.
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, madam, any other questions, madam? Sir? Sir, and one more software for all of you. There is also a software that is being developed at the Drulitos drug likeliness tool. So the concept here for this drug likeliness tool is very simple. So what the basic working function of this is, it's just a Drulitos. So if you click here, it is using just a Java program, and it is trying to calculate, am I sharing the screen? Yes. So this is a software which is trying to identify the various properties of the ligand and is trying to apply the Lipinski rule and trying to apply the Gauss filter, the CMC, the verbal fruit to determine the drug likeliness tool. So the blood-brain barrier likeliness tool. And if you want to run this particular thing, I'll just show you. So you just browse a particular ligand where the things are kept. So you can go for this and you go for this, and you have this neostigmine. I have a neostigmine here, and once I have incorporated it, I calculate the properties. So, and if I run this automatically for this particular properties, the molecular properties would be calculated, and so you see. So for this molecule, I have determined, the software has determined the molecular weight, log P value, the partition coefficient, hydrogen bond acceptor, hydrogen bond donor, and all these parameters have been determined, sir. So what is that do is I'll click on this Gauss filter, I'll click on the CMC. If I click on all these and blood-brain barrier likeness or MDDR, and what I do is apply filter. So once I try to apply this filter, so this you can do for any type of ligands. Automatically, it will say this parameter, sir. So the output will be given for each and every drum. So Lipinski rule, neostigmine has passed. Gauss filter, it has passed. Whereas CMC 50 like rule, it has failed. Weber rule, it has passed. MDDR like rule, it has failed. Blood-brain barrier likeness rule, it has passed. QED parameter, it has passed. And all filters, so this is how, sir. So the summary, you can take it like this. So if you want to perform for all the ligands at a stretch, you take all the ligand, put it as a single SDF file, and you can run all the ligands at a time, sir. So this is how you try to evaluate the drug likeliness property depending upon the physicochemical parameters. So this is one more software. Actually, I thought of doing this test software, but my system is not compatible with that. So that is the problem. I am unable to show you that, sir. So this is Droo-Lito software that is being developed by Naipur Mohali, sir. So this software is a free software. Anybody can download it and you can use it for your drug likeliness tool. So all these softwares, sir, so you can identify a protein, perform a molecular docking for any number of ligands, and you can incorporate it with the toxicology tool like in silico toxicity testing, and you try to identify the drug likeliness property of the ligand. And all this, with this, you can just put it in a publication point of view, sir. But as of now, molecular docking studies alone is not accepted. They are expecting homology modeling, one step ahead, sir. So what is this homology modeling is nothing but you try to take 5 proteins, and these 5 proteins you try to identify how the structure is made up of. And using homology modeling software, you try to superimpose all the 5 proteins and you try to develop your own protein. So that would be somewhat very interesting, because putting into theoretical part or all the mathematical modeling approach, and you try to develop a particular protein which is very unique, and then you use this particular protein for docking studies. That is what the present publication things are looking into, sir. So that is the most important and the advanced techniques with which in Schrodinger software you can perform this homology modeling, sir. So any other doubts, sir?
Sir, can we give more than one ligand and apply on a single protein, sir?
Sir, please, we can, sure, sir. We can give for a flexible docking, for ligand protein docking, we can go for maximum 1 lakh molecules, sir. We can screen the molecule depending upon the Lipinski rule, and we can incorporate it or download it from the ligand database. So ligand database are same like protein database. It's available by the US EPA government. So from that, you can take the molecule and you can run it, sir. All you need is a desktop with maximum RAM capacity and storage capacity to perform the docking day and night, sir. So that's it, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, any other questions, sir?
Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir, as we decided, we analyze our docking score.
Okay, sir.
Different softwares for same ligand and same proteins, different ligands, different docking software shows quite different scores. So how we can recognize that which is better one for docking?
Yes, sir. Actually, the question is the thing which I am working on it now, sir, because I have performed a docking with Autodock. I have performed it with Schrodinger, and I have performed with Molgro. But
Yeah.
each and every time we select a parameter. So finally, I have come to the conclusion after many type of dockings, what I have done.
Yeah.
The parameters which each and every software is giving is different, sir. And in each and every software, what the importance of the parameter is different, sir. In some cases, like in Autodock tool, only the ligand is having hydrogen bond interaction is sufficient, sir. If in Autodock, if there is a hydrogen bond interaction, once upon a time, the people used to say, that's it, I have identified a potent ligand which has hydrogen bond interactions. But nowadays, it's not the case. So we are trying to put more parameters. But Autodock, Schrodinger, as well as this Molgro are trying to weigh their software techniques, sir. Even I have visited one QIP program in Manipal, where IIT graduate has developed a very beautiful software of this docking process, and he was trying to explain it to all of us in that particular QIP. So I was really astonished. Even a docking software can be developed by us, taking all the parameters what we have studied in Schrodinger and Molgrove. All these are mathematical modeling, sir. That's it. And what I do to compare a particular molecule, like you said, sir, if I'm taking for a Alzheimer's disease, I will prefer acetylcholinesterase. So I would try to put my standard drug like neostigmine, physostigmine, and all the standard drugs available in the market, along with the ligand which I am trying to develop, sir. And what I have done is, statistically, I have tried to compare the residues with which the ligand of the standard drugs bind, along with the binding site of my ligand of the test compound, sir. So same like the animal study where we used to compare the control or the negative control with the standard and the test, I am trying to do it with the docking software, sir. So this is the solution I have arrived at. But depending upon the parameters that have been developed or given weightage, this would not be appropriate, sir. So we can't say this software is good, this software is bad, but all the softwares are doing their level best. So that is the output I would say, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.